What's up, ANIMEBALL Z fans? Kriddle and 2.0 here with another fantastic voice actor for you guys to watch an interview of, which is why you're here, otherwise you wouldn't be here in the first place. TODD HABERKORN.
Hello.
Yay.
Hi.
Hey. Woo.
No jet lag. Zero.
No jet lag? That's
Zero.
That's fantastic. That seems to be a trend that's going on. I think Australia's just climatizing everyone
Oh, it's
to
awesome.
at least no jet lag.
So you don't get a lot of sleep in the States because you're just going and doing this and trying to do this job and play this game or whatever. And so on the plane, you can't do any of that. You just have to sit there because there's no internet on the plane. So we're not like locked into Facebook or whatever. And so you're like, oh, well, hey, don't you need sleep? And then boom, 10 hours later, you're awake and ready to go. So
Always a good way of getting
now
it.
tomorrow, I don't know what's going to happen. But right now, I feel good.
Well, at least you got another day till the actual convention itself of OzComicCon.
Yeah. I thought it was rocking tomorrow, but I guess no. It really
No.
kind of gets started
Saturday
Saturday
to
and
Sunday,
Sunday,
yeah.
and then okay. So.
But you'll be going all day Saturday and Sunday.
Oh,
which is
yeah.
fun. I've seen
Oh,
your
yeah.
schedule. You're going to be very, very busy the entire time.
And then the car picks me up at 4:15 a.m. Monday morning. So I'm technically a time traveler because I'll leave here Monday in the morning and get back to the States in the morning on Monday.
Dun dun dun. That's
Time
pretty
traveling.
Could love it.
Mm-hmm.
You shall be called the Doctor.
Well, you can just be called Natsu because Natsu actually a bit later on in the series. Spoiler alert to anyone that hasn't actually got up to date with Fairy Tail. Natsu actually gets to travel through time. Sorry, but not one day. It's 7 years.
It's
Yeah.
okay. I missed half of that, so spoiler.
You're spoiler break.
I'm spoiler.
And now you can resume your watching.
There we go.
But Natsu, best character ever.
Fantastic character.
Oh well, I'm glad you guys like it. For me, it was an interesting show that came at an interesting time in my life, I guess, because I was kind of transitioning out of Funimation in a sense. I still work there, and I still come in and do shows, and I love working with them. But that's right around the time I was making my move to LA, and I understand because not living there, they're going to be a little more apprehensive about casting me as much as they had in the past. But that was kind of my last big show there.
Yeah.
And so it has a special place, and of course with the tattoo thing that's coming up and things like that. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on with it, and
Yeah.
it's a great show. I love it.
It's fantastic, yeah. And did you know that you were getting yourself into a long-running series like Fairy Tail when you signed up?
I didn't. I rarely know anything about the shows when I go into it. Like with Soul Eater, someone just said you should look at the part of Death the Kid. I'm like, okay. And then or Sergeant Frog, they're like, yeah, you should try out for this show. But I don't know the legacy behind these shows. Yeah. And so with Fairy Tail, once we got started, then I started to do some research and look into it. And I really like all the boss battles and the powers, and being a fire wizard, you can't go wrong there.
True.
And Natsu has great abs, so it's things to aspire towards. So.
And on the negative side, he's got motion sickness.
He does have motion sickness, and that would be a huge problem for me if I had that. So I'm glad I don't
always
have
traveling
that.
and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
That's fun.
So this is really, I guess the reason there's no jet lag is because I'll change time zones 3 or 4 times a week usually. So I'm used to hotels and used to sleeping on planes. I guess that's why that's my mutant ability.
Yeah. Well, you've done roles from Ouran High School through obviously Natsu Fairy Tail, through Initial D, all things like that. Like, what has been your favorite type of role to do?
I guess I got started in doing the hyperactive, high energy roles, but I don't know. They're all little children. They're all little voice acting kids, I guess, and I can't pick one that's my favorite because I just like them all. I like the chance to get in there and see what we're going to come up with because we don't get the scripts ahead of time, and it's really an impulsive craft in the booth, and so being able to see what comes out is a lot of fun, and we discover it with how you watch it. That's how we discover it when we're watching. So we really rely on the director to come in and really know their stuff to help us, to guide us where we're going. So they're all great, I think.
Now, one role that is really iconic of yours that, well, I absolutely love, has to be D. Greyman. You played Alan Walker.
Yeah, that was, what's really fun about that show is that I didn't actually audition for that show. Sabat found me in the halls one day after recording, and he started to talk to me about it, and he said that he wanted me to play that role, but also direct it. And so I got to cast it with Sabat and direct it, and then also be in it. And we actually did 2 versions of the first episode because he has a British accent. And so we did one version where he had a British accent and one with the standard American. And Sabbath and I talked about it, and he felt that, if we went with the British accent with Alan, well then later when you meet Miranda, she would have to speak, if we're going to be true to everybody's nationality, she would have to be speaking German. Not a German accent, but actually speaking German. And I don't have time to teach Colleen Klinkenbeard how to speak German. And so we decided to go with, it's on my list of things to do, it's on my bucket list, but not within the production schedule. And so we decided to go with the standard accent, and I really love that show, and I wish we could finish it. And who knows if crazier things have happened. I mean, there are zombies eating people in the States right now.
Yeah, true.
And so, there were more cases this last week of
Heaps.
people eating other people. Anyway,
It's happening.
but
2012.
yeah, and they're trying to cover it up, and it's really weird. But no, I would love to continue doing it. It was a great show. It was a lot of fun to work on.
My favorite part of your character, Alan, had to be his quirk when it came to his gambling addiction.
Yeah, that's something that that rubbed off on me a little bit every time I go to Vegas, because LA is only 4 hours from Vegas.
Yeah.
And luckily, I've not lost yet. I don't know what's going to happen next time I go.
That's a true gambler speaking.
But yeah, every time I've walked out, I've been ahead. Oh, and I think it's because I bring one of my buddies with me, and he's kind of my Obi-Wan, and helps me figure things out. But yeah, so we'll see if I run out of luck next time.
Fingers crossed you don't, and fingers crossed you keep up with all these fantastic roles, because you've done other things like Koza from One Piece. Do you prefer doing a lead role like Natsu, or do you prefer doing those sort of characters that are in for one arc like Koza, so you're in, you're out, and
I
I
love the lead roles because it is that consistent time in the booth, and it gives you the time to build the character and see the journey of the character, and I always love the lead stuff, so I bring it on, I say.
Fair enough, yeah, I like that.
We have to talk about your role as Hikaru from Oran. It completely, one of the weirdest characters I've ever met, but also one of the funniest.
That was, that show really, it's so strange how it means so much to people, and it's great because I just was at a convention where people were talking about how much it meant to them, and it's astonishing to see what it does to people, because they were talking about some heavy stuff, saying like, man, I was suicidal and I was this, but Oran, that show helped me get through this and that, and so it's awesome to be a part of something like that affects people that way. And it is a funny show. It's a fun show, and it's imaginative, and there's a lot of the cast of the show is great, and it's well written, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. So it was a lot of fun to do. The parts where there's a lot of yaoi, do I practice that like I practice gambling? No, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't have its place.
So you're not a committed method actor?
Not in that area, no. So, yeah.
Well, what about Hitalia? I remember watching Hitalia not long ago, actually. I just got into the series, and the first thing I remember from that was when Italy just puts his hand up and goes, "Pasta!"
Oh yeah, thus began my love of carbs. That show is also, all these shows are, the experiences are all under the umbrella of fun, but they're also different. So with a show like that is only 5-minute episodes, and the speed of that character, and originally I wasn't Italy, I was actually England, and so I recorded the whole show as England, and then went back and got another unique experience to record it as Italy. So it was, I've had a lot of time with that show, and everyone thinks that the stuff is sped up in post and things like that. No, that's just the director saying faster, more energy, higher. So you're definitely tired after doing those episodes.
Understandably.
Yeah.
Keisuke Takahashi from Initial D, what was that? Because that was a very different role for you. Normally you're doing the silly characters or the yaoi sort of characters.
Yeah.
Did you find that one a bit more difficult for you, or?
With that show, it was, I had heard, now that's one show that I was aware of what it was about before we actually did it, and to take that show and kind of retool it, I guess, was fun, because it was a different role, and it was a chance to actually learn some stuff about cars, because I know I know how they work. I know how to turn them on and shift gears.
Yeah.
But other than that, but after watching that show, I teach a class on cars. But it was what an interesting concept for a show, and the fact that it has such a following to it, and again, just to be involved with to be involved with all these shows is great.
Yeah. Well, I got into that show. Like, I'm massively into Initial D. Before, when I'd heard of it, it's like, car racing, not really for me.
Yeah.
Then we did it on our show, and I had to watch it for that. I'm like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. I love it. It's so edge of your seat, on the same note as Death Note and things like that. It's not something that you'd expect to get out of a car show.
Yeah.
It's insanely good.
Well, and it's got its own video game too.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
There you go. Can't go wrong.
We have to cover probably one of your most iconic roles in anime, one of the most popular ones, especially like with Australia, and it was the poster of your coming to OzComicCon, Death the Kid.
Yeah, Soul Eater, man, it seems like we didn't do a lot of it, but we did 52 episodes of it, and I feel like there's more out there, there's more to do. I feel like Soul Eater is a really honed One Piece. It's very imaginative, and these characters are kooky and crazy, but there's more direction to it. I feel like whereas with One Piece, it's like we need a pillow pirate. Okay, here and they'll put it in there. But like with Soul Eater, there's a method to the madness, and with playing a character like Death the Kid, it was, it just fit. I felt like when I got in there, it felt very comfortable to be the son of Death, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, I love it.
But one thing I noticed about all of your characters, or most of them anyway, is that they have all personality quirks. Like Natsu has motion sickness.
Well, Natsu, okay, no, now I'm on the... You were talking about...
I know, I'm talking about all of his...
You move!
Natsu has motion sickness. Alan Walker is a gambling problem.
Mm-hmm.
Death the Kid has OCD when it comes to symmetry.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like playing the characters that have those hang-ups?
It's all a challenge. It's all, how are you gonna fit it in there? How are you gonna sell this to the audience in these quirks, and how much of that is you in them? And I've got my own quirks, and I've got my little rough edges and things like that. So, and maybe it's a therapeutic thing to go through it and do these roles. So I don't know. I just hey, get me behind a mic. I'm ready to go. So.
Fantastic.
Well, I think we should end it on a high note.
Definitely on a high note. Thank you so much, Todd Haberkorn,
Hey, thank
for coming
you.
out and sitting down with us and having this
It's the furthest interview I've ever traveled for. 8,000 miles.
Well, there we are.
And I've loved every minute.
That's fantastic. Well, this has been Todd Haberkorn, another interview with ANIMEBALL Z, and we will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.
ANIMEBALL Z.